So Google just dropped Gemini 3 and honestly, you aren't ready for it. The hype was real, 100%, and after weeks of cryptic social media posts, it finally happened. The model card leaked early and developers were posting on X like kids on Christmas. Gemini 3 is such a great model that even Elon Musk himself alongside Sam Altman both congratulated Google on creating such a revolutionary product. But here's what's impressive. This wasn't a careful drip feed rollout. Google just knocked out all of its opponents by going all in from day one. Gemini 3 launched across everything. The Gemini app, Google Search, AI Studio, Vertex AI, literally everything. Even a brand new coding platform called Antigravity. I think this marks a turning point. Remember the original Gemini launch? That was rough. Not this time. This is pure confidence. This is Google saying they're back. Now, Gemini 3 isn't just a refresh, it's a fundamental leap forward. Context understanding is way better. You don't need to perfect prompts anymore. It figures out what you mean. That's the first part what makes Gemini 3 so impressive. The second one is reasoning. It handles complex problems without falling apart, which is still a struggle point for most competitors. It goes deeper and not haphazardly. No, it goes layer by layer, and it is very meticulous. Also, it's truly multimodal. Text, images, video, audio, code, all at once and not sequentially. I genuinely think this changes AI interaction. We've been stuck in text boxes too long. Gemini 3 breaks that. Now let's talk performance because these benchmarks are wild. Gemini 3 Pro scored 37.5% on humanity's last exam, which is the highest score ever recorded. GPT-5 Pro's previous record was an impressive 31.64, which really shows you how much Gemini 3 brings to the table. This literally rivals human PhD level reasoning across multiple fields. On LM Arena, which measures user satisfaction, Gemini took the first place. It scored 1501 ELO. Gemini 2.5 Pro was 1451, which is a massive jump. Math, it got 100% on AIME 2025 with code execution, so it's a perfect score on a competition that even most humans can't solve. On Math Arena Apex, it scored 23.4%, which might seem underwhelming. That's until you hear that Gemini 2.5 Pro scored 0.5%. Yes, you heard me right, 0.5%, and that's half a generation backwards. But what about multimodal? 81% on MMMU-Pro and 87.6% on Video-MMMU, beating GPT 5.1 and Claude Sonnet 4.5 like they're nothing. Not the pinnacle of AI, which they are. Coding benchmark is where things get interesting, admittedly. 76.2 on SWE-Bench Verified, and that text is fixing real software bugs. It's literally neck and neck with GPT 5.1 at 76.3 and just a tad behind Claude at 77.2. On Terminal Bench, testing command line operation, it scored 54.2%, which is a drastic improvement over the previous version's 32.6%. And finally, ARC AGI 2, designed to measure reasoning, not memorization, Gemini 3 Pro scored 31.1%, while Gemini 3 Deep Think scored 45.1%. This is extremely impressive because no other model broke 40%. These aren't improvements and little hops, these are leaps and a literal revolution. Now, Gemini 3 comes into two flavors, Pro and Deep Think. Deep Think is designed for the hardest of problems. It takes multiple steps, tests more, and revises constantly. Sure, it takes longer, but outputs are significantly better. On humanity's last exam, Deep Think scored a whopping 41%. On GPQA Diamond, testing graduate level science, 93.8%. On ARC AGI 2, that 45.1% I already mentioned. This is Google's answer to extended reasoning models, having both fast and deep options in one system, and admittedly, this is a very smart move. Now, the most interesting part, Antigravity. This isn't just another coding assistant, it's a complete reimagining of development environments. Normal AI tools just sit in the corner like little one-dimensional slaves. You ask, they answer, and maybe autocomplete. They are very limited. Antigravity flips it, literally. This AI isn't your assistant, you are the assistant here. The AI takes control of the entire workflow. You got 3 panels, chat, terminal, and browser. The AI works across all 3 simultaneously. You just give it a task such as build a flight tracker app, and it's the one that plans. It writes code, it tests in browser, it validates, it does everything, and it does it completely autonomous. But despite the fact that it's doing everything by itself, it remains transparent. It shows you everything, the plan, the code, the tests. You can step in anytime. Transparency is the name of the game. That said, earlier reviews are, well, mixed. Some love it, but most report errors and slow generation, which might sound disappointing, but this is to be expected for a preview. The tech is interesting regardless. I think this is where AI development is headed. Not better autocomplete, but true agent systems handling entire workflow. Now let's talk about where this shows up. First, the Gemini app, which garners over 650 million monthly users. And with Gemini 3 rolling out, we get 2 new features, Dynamic View and Visual Layout. Dynamic View designs custom interfaces for every prompt. Explaining microbiomes to a 5-year-old, you'll get a different interface than the one suited for a college student. Visual Layout creates magazine-style responses, so photos, text modules, sliders. It's fully interactive. Then we've got Google Search. This is the first time Google shipped their latest model into search on launch day, which is something that usually takes months. AI Pro or Ultra subscribers get Gemini 3 in AI mode, and there it handles complex queries, creates visual layouts, and builds interactive tools and search results. For developers, it's in AI Studio and Vertex AI now. It also shows up in Cursor, GitHub, JetBrains, Replit, etc. Google is going for a smart distribution strategy, which bases itself on meeting developers where they work, not requiring them to seek you out. And that is a game changer. Now, next thing that needs tackling is Gemini's competition, and as arbitrary as this sounds, it's actually the most important part, because competition makes progress. OpenAI launched GPT-5 in August and updated it to GPT 5.1 last week. Anthropic dropped Claude Sonnet 4.5 nigh on 2 months ago. xAI released Grok 4. The pace is insane, and it's only going to get faster. So how does Gemini 3 stack up? Reasoning? It's ahead of them all. Humanities Last Exam, ARC-AGI 2, Math Arena, Gemini 3 just simply wins. Coding? It is very competitive. That said, it's slightly behind Claude and SWE-Bench, but it's ahead of it on Terminal Bench. It's also neck and neck with ChatGPT. Multimodal, the leader of the pack. It's also on the top when it comes down to video reasoning and image analysis. But here's what matters most: integration. In this day and age, an AI that is used the most is the one that will go forward the fastest, and Gemini 3 is literally everywhere. Your phone, your browser, your search engine, email, calendar. You don't even know that you're using it, how much and how well it's integrated into everyday life. OpenAI and Anthropic are maybe making great models, but they're not embedded in 2 billion people's daily workflows. Google is, and that distribution advantage is massive. Now, quick word on what this means for businesses. Google announced numerous major partnerships: Box, Cursor, Figma, Shopify, Thomson Reuters, to name just a few. Big players are betting big money. On Vending-Bench 2, simulating running a business over time, Gemini 3 generated returns of $5,478. Gemini 2.5 Pro, just $573, making Gemini 3 almost 10 times better. GitHub also reported 35% higher accuracy in resolving software challenges, which is enormous. JetBrains also saw over 50% improvements in solved tasks. Real productivity gains, not marketing. This are the actual numbers for companies shipping products. The pricing is reasonable too. As expected, there will be a free tier for basic access, and next there will be a pro tier, which is $20 monthly. Enterprise pricing is custom, but don't worry, it is still competitive. I think we'll see companies migrating to Gemini 3 over the next few months because performance simply justifies it. So where does that leave us? AI development has entered a new phase. No chatbots anymore. Instead, we're finally entering the phase of true AI agents, systems that plan, execute, validate, and learn. Gemini 3 represents that shift. It's not just smarter, it's vastly more capable, more autonomous, more integrated into real workflows. Its generative UI alone changes everything. We've been stuck thinking AI produces text, but information isn't just text. Sometimes it's charts, calculators, interactive simulations. Gemini 3 gets that. It creates the right output for the task, and with Antigravity, we're seeing the future of development. Describe whatever you want, and the AI will handle implementation. It won't handle it perfectly exactly, at least not yet, but we're getting there. Google says more models in the Gemini 3 family are coming, and that this is just the start. Honestly, I think we'll look back at November 2025 as the pivotal moment of AI, because this will be the moment where AI went from impressive to genuinely useful at scale. That is the basis of the future, and Gemini 3 is getting us closer to it. Will it maintain the lead? It's hard to say. OpenAI and Anthropic are still not sitting still, but right now, today, Gemini 3 is the model to beat. I'll be testing it heavily over the next few weeks, building and breaking things, exploring its capabilities, and seeing what it can really do. And in the meantime, if you're a developer, you should definitely try Antigravity. For the creative ones, explore generative UI, and if you're curious, ask it the hardest questions you can think of. No matter what you want from your AI, Gemini will deliver. And this is what we've been waiting for. An AI that actually feels intelligent, not, well, artificial. Not just clever or simply technologically impressive. Gemini 3 is actually useful, and Google is back in the game, going pedal to the metal, and I'm here for it.